Oh, look, after 15 minutes.
No, we know. It's at 24 or fewer. You can probably grab a chair if you want, or you can use this chair.
I can stand.
Alright, up to you.
I sit over there. You're not plugged in.
This is, I got this. Well, I hear something coming up.
Well, you know, I know you.
See if I plug it in.
Did what?
And I guess we'll just have to see if the one I plug it in.
Yeah, basically. Once they start talking, it'll show up here or not. This, I think, is probably it's either mic noise or just line noise. Oh, shite. I didn't mean to.
Good evening. Welcome to the July 2025 Public Hearing and Speaker Council Sessions. The meeting will now come to order and ask Clerk Washington to call the roll.
I gotta go for another one.
We just put it on this maybe. Because once the meeting starts, it's pretty awkward.
Councilmember Murphy? Here. Councilmember Monroe? Here. Councilmember Patterson? Here. Councilmember Smith is excused. Vice President Harris is excused. President Linda?
Here.
Thank you.
New York State law requires that City Council hold public hearings as it considers specific legislative actions. The clerk will open each public hearing, and anyone wishing to comment on the relevant matter may come to the podium at that time. After public hearings conclude, Speak to Council will begin. Speak to Council is a time for members of the public to comment on any and all matters matters relating to the city. Silence for this session tonight closed at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon. The list of speakers can be found in the back of the room and in the hallway. Speakers discussing legislation on this month's City Council agenda are placed on the A list. Speakers commenting on all other matters are placed on the B list. As a reminder, the City Council is here to listen to all matters, and it is customary that we do not respond. So now let's begin this month's public hearings. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes at the podium, and the clerk will lead us through each hearing. Clerk Washington.
Pursuant to law, public hearing will now be held on the following matter: authorizing the sale of 60 Excel Drive and 510 Norton Street. Introductory number 257. Any person desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
Seeing no speakers, that hearing is now adjourned.
Pursuant to law, public hearing will now be held on the following matter: amending Chapter 120 of the Municipal Code, Zoning Code, by modifying the text and development concept plan for the Planned Development District Number 8, Midtown Athletic Club, introductory number 261. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
Good evening. My name is Janet Barclay, and I live at 232.
Still not much better, though.
I have lived there for about 31 years. I am speaking in opposition to the proposed site for the building of this new storage facility. The area that is proposed on the map that I found at a previous meeting, the area begins approximately 70 feet from the north end of my property, so the edge of my front yard. It is a small park-like area with trees. The city is interested, I know, in reforesting the city, so why would they consider cutting down trees? The area immediately north of this is full of weeds, and it's a little parking lot that has Matthew Goldman, or Jeffrey Goldman, who is a lawyer for Midtown, stated, and I quote, and it will do a great service to the neighborhood on Wall Street by allowing the apartment residents to access the warehouse directly from the apartments instead of having to drive in on Wall Street through the residential neighborhood. As far as I know, there's a locked gate that only Eastwood employees and maintenance people use. And the residents do not use that gate. The proposal for Midtown, I believe, is incomplete. There's no mention of the size of the facility, when will it be built, how long will it be built, how long will it take, what will it look like, what will it be built from, will there be any access from Gould Street? If so, there's concern for security for the building. Who will take care of the grounds? Will it be Eastwood? Will it be Midtown? Concern about construction and noise, and also concern about our property values. Having a storage facility 70 feet from the residential area. Gould Street is a small street off of Highland Avenue, composed of 10 homes, 5 on each side. It's a very nice, quiet, walkable neighborhood, and we believe, many of my neighbors and myself believe, the better site for the storage facility would be the weed-infested parking lot that Midtown owns just north of us. Thank you very much.
Seeing no additional speakers, that hearing is now adjourned. Oh, thank you.
My name is Jerry Goldman. I'm the attorney and agent for Midtown Athletic. And I would just like to say that our intention of this today, we are here to consider a code amendment. We are not here to consider the site plan, which is done administratively by the zoning department. Nonetheless, we understand and hear the concerns which have been raised by our neighbor. We'd be more than glad to engage with the neighbor to discuss the details of it. There have been a lot of mapping which has been provided to the city already relative to what we intend to do here. The objective is to make sure that we have eliminated an existing garage structure at the end of Gould Street and to put it in a way that it directly accesses the apartments and doesn't infringe on the residential neighborhood. So with that, our intention is to try to have a win-win for everyone. If there are any questions from board members, council members, or anyone else, we'd be more than glad to address them. Thank you.
Council. We typically don't in public hearings have questions, but we can follow up. Thank you. Thank you. So I've closed that hearing. We'll move to the next hearing.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter. Resolution designating Excel Drive Properties, LLC as qualified and eligible to purchase 60 Excel Drive and 510 Norton Street to conduct an urban renewal project. Introductory number URA 7. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
Seeing no speakers, that hearing is adjourned.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter. Authorizing a change in traffic flow and the alteration of pavement widths relating to the Center City Courtyard Project at 99 West Main Street. Introductory number 265. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to the said matter will now be heard.
Good afternoon. Diane Mendick, 55 Sully's Trail, Pittsford, New York. WJM Properties is an adjoiner to the new city center project. And we have seen a map of the new street. We have absolutely no issue with the making this a one-way street. Actually, we're very encouraged by that. The issue that WJM has is that with the narrowing of the street at both the West Main and the Broad Street by 9 feet would be extremely difficult to snow removal. We feel that the city snow plow is going to have to go all the way around, and then it's going to have to go back in 9 feet to clear that snow, and we think this is going to be very, very difficult. And I would hope that whoever is in charge of the snow removal have seen a copy of this map before the board makes any decisions on this. Thank you.
Seeing no additional speakers, that hearing is now adjourned.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter. Authorizing the alteration of pavement width relating to the Monroe Community College Downtown Pedestrian Safety Improvements Project. Introductory number 266. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
Seeing no speakers, that hearing is now adjourned.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter. Authorizing the alteration of pavement widths relating to the Route 33A, Chalai Avenue over Erie Canal Bridge Replacement Project. Introductory number 267. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
Seeing no speakers, that hearing is now adjourned. All right, we will now begin our Speak to Council session. All speakers will be given 2 minutes at the podium. We respectfully ask that each speaker offer council the same respect they would expect to receive in return. In doing so, please refrain from profanity and other harmful language. Council members do have the contact information of all of tonight's speakers and may follow up on any concerns that pique their interest. Clerk Washington will call each speaker to the podium. We ask that you respect the time of those waiting behind you and yield the podium at the end of your allotted 2 minutes. Clerk Washington.
Barbara Indovino is followed by Anita Jones.
Good evening. My name's Barbara Jean Indovino. I'm a property owner and taxpayer. I'm here to discuss the lack of enforcement of the laws. We'll start with Lyle Avenue. Drug houses up and down residential streets, use and sales of drugs, prostitution, and other high criminal activity going on. This is disgraceful, unacceptable. Lyle Avenue needs to be shut down and cleaned up immediately. Trash, litter, and garbage thrown out of cars and on foot. This is 5 days worth just in my neighborhood alone. They're throwing it out of their cars on foot. And this is just 3 small blocks in my neighborhood. Noise ordinance. Loud car stereos, music blasting on front porches day and night, fireworks going off day and night, speeding on the 490 expressway through the city. The speed limit's 40. They're going well beyond 40 miles. They're also speeding up and down residential streets. ATV dirt bikes, they're on sidewalks, they're on city streets and parking lots. Dogs are unleashed in yards and sidewalks. Loitering is a very big problem at convenience stores, especially 1218 J Street. It's an ongoing issue. Abandoned, boarded up houses, neglected houses, empty lots. Driving while smoking weed. This is a DUI. Traffic infractions, blowing through stop signs, disobeying street signs. We have to stop crime before it starts. All this encourages more criminal activity and violence. It degrades property values. Stop wasting state funds and taxpayers' money on programs and nonsense that isn't working. Here are some solutions. Again, we have to stop crime before it starts. We need more signage in the city. We need task force to go out on the streets to issue citations. We need more foot patrol, more support for the police, command posts and security cameras in high crime areas, more PSAs on billboards, TV, radio, mailing. Let community in Rochester know there'll be consequences when the laws are broken. Rochester's a great city, but we lack effective leadership. We need a tough, strict mayor and state governor to enforce our laws. What we're doing
Ma'am,
now
your
is
time is
not
up.
working. We deserve to live in clean, safe, peaceful neighborhoods. Please heed to these solutions and enforce our laws. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anita Jones is followed by Oscar Brewer.
Good evening, City Council. I'm here for 2 reasons. One is the environmental services that's going on in Rochester. It's not really going on. And your customer service at the environmental services are very bad. I called them, I was talked down to, and that's not fair. I mean, customer service should be your first priority as far as someone from the city calling you for help. Okay. The second thing I want to speak, I could say more on that. The second thing I want to speak on is the fair policy, housing policy that you just passed, fair evictions. Let me tell you what your fair eviction policy did for me and my family. Cost me $1,200 more a year because the landlord where I live at said, because you passed that law, they got a right to charge me $100 more a month. And I have another issue. How can a property pass with a C of O when they have 64 different problems, code violations on the house? That's not just from me, but it's from other people that I've talked to in the neighborhood. And you keep letting LLCs come in and buy our housing stock and put people in my area, in my condition, out of the housing market. I mean, there's people that are homeless now in Rochester, and some of these rents are tremendous. So that fair housing thing that you did cost me another $1,200 a year. And I got raccoons coming in the attic. I got windows that don't open. I have to pay the water bill and all other parts and keeping the property looking good because that's how I am. So I would like a copy of that fair housing thing sent to me. You have my information so I can look at it a little closer. Thank you.
Oscar Brewer is followed by Willette McFadden.
City Council, good evening. Congratulations to our 3 citywide council members that won their re-election this year. For what, though? Looking at Keeler Park, Michael Patterson. In your district, our elderly people, Section 8 is pulled out, 70% rent increase. You need to explain that. That's on your damn watch. Do your job or resign tonight. President Miguel Melendez, I'm being told that you're doing this housing quality task force for good cause eviction protection, right? I'm also being told that you're going to stack it with landlords. Is that why myself and my other colleagues advocated for another task force stacked by slumlords? Is it President Miguel Melendez? Is that what you ran for on your re-election this year? And Councilmember Mitch Gruber, congratulations on highlighting that you supported good cause eviction protection on your re-election, but you really didn't from day one. From day one, my guy. Also, to the council members who are here, why is the rent too damn high? Why is the rent too damn high? Why is the rent too damn high? And don't tell me to curse. Not to curse. I've been coming down here for years, pleading to you about your constituents. You have properties on Hudson Avenue, Councilmember Patterson, 12, 16, $2,000 a month. Are you proud of yourself? I did an interview today with the Rochester Beacon. I called for you, and you to do your damn jobs or resign immediately. And I'm not playing. I'll see your ass in 2027 when we campaign against each other. Get ready, my guy.
Willette McFadden is followed by Carolyn Jones.
I'm from Campbell Street, new homeowner over there. Owned my house for 2 years. I got cited as soon as I closed on my property, but there was crackheads and drug dealers on either side of me, okay? I've been robbed. The intruder was in my house when I came home from doing an event, which I'm an entertainer, I'm a singer for the National Guard, and my house is being robbed. I was in the house when they were hiding out in my house. This happened Labor Day weekend last year. Went out of town to visit my family. My son's car was stolen. I understand it went to a chop shop or something like that. And and then there's just vagrants and squatters and drug dealers and drug users on both sides of me. They monitor me. They think that I'm the person that calls the police when anything happens. I've been threatened. My life's been threatened. And a person got an appearance ticket for, I guess, the bail reform or something like that. So, but I'm still being like threatened and afraid to go to sleep at night. So whenever I leave my house, I'm being monitored. And I bought my house just to piggyback on what the gentleman was saying. The rent was so high that I'm like, I may as well buy a house. So that's what I did. But there's something definitely needs to be done about these drug dealers on my street. And then in back of my property, there's a dead-end street off of Ames, and there's a bunch of abandoned cars over there. And the property that's next to me has a car that's almost like buried in the backyard. And that's where the drug addicts and the drug dealers are pretty much dealing out of. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, thank you for
Carolyn Jones is followed by Maggie Kane.
Hi, City Council and everyone else. My name is Carolyn Jones, and I am here about a cell tower being built in our area and to protest it. I have lived in the Portland Avenue area for 26 years. And I've watched it go down further and further and further every year. The only thing that we really had on Portland Avenue during that time was a peace garden. And then a couple of years ago, they built a traffic area, I guess to protect people, but more people have been hurt and injured by that area than have not. But my point is the cell tower being brought into this area, into a food desert, a drugstore desert, okay, and all other things that we go through in this area with crime and all of that. I want to know why the zoning board is assisting Verizon with their study to build their tower on a brownfield. Number one. Number two, Verizon is a $1 billion customer. Why would zoning pay for that with tax money? I cannot understand that. And then Verizon is trying to build a cell tower, a 60-foot cell tower on Portland Avenue in a residential neighborhood where there are people, there are elderly, there are children, there are families that live in that area. And I don't think it would be a benefit to that area to have that cell tower built. And I'm trying to figure out why would zoning allow that in this neighborhood that is already depressed and is already having a difficult time. There's nothing that ever comes over the Portland line. The Peace Garden is gone, and we really have nothing in that neighborhood. And they want to build a 60-foot cell tower. Thank you.
Maggie Kane. Raymond Banks. Lorraine Parr. Marcus C. Williams. Dr. Lisa Barr. Ann Starks. David Sutlis Adius.
Before you do, I'm telling you you should not do that. There are 3 reasons. First of all, we know that any data from any of these cameras that the feds, their stormtroopers, and the judges who will just do whatever the administration wants them to do will come and get that data. No question. And where's that data going to come from? Just like the red light cameras that we totally got rid of. Horrible. Depressed area. We're going to put license plate readers and police cars, and where do we send police? To the depressed areas of the city. Yep. So they're the ones who are going to be hit more by these than doctors and other quote-unquote professionals who live off of these data. And this legislator even said, hey, we take these license plate pictures, and we can tell if they paid their registration or their insurance. Now, you got struggling people who, by doing the best that they can, and maybe they're a month behind, and they're going to get hit again because of these cameras. But that's not even the worst part of this. Okay? The worst part of this is people want these cameras to stop crime, right? And they don't. We know, like, not voting for budgets that reduce recreation and reduce mental health services, that will stop crime. Yeah. Not increasing the police state, not eroding our civil liberties. Thank you.
Matt Seidel is followed by Ames Grigg.
Hello, my name is Matt Seidel, and I'm here today to address the illegal cell tower proposal on Portland Avenue and the conduct of the zoning department. I, along with other concerned residents, are calling for the council to conduct an investigation into this application and the many violations enacted by the zoning administration. Part of the job of the zoning manager is to ensure that building applications are accurate and complete before scheduling a hearing. If this cell tower application had been lawfully handled, it never would have made it past his desk. We brought our concerns to the zoning administration first and were ignored. We brought them to city council next and found support. You have all agreed that this cell tower is wrong. We appreciate your response and knowing that you are with us in theory. Now we need you to act. The fact that the zoning manager is acting with such impunity, putting the health of your constituents at risk, and threatening to permanently degrade this neighborhood suggests he has support from this administration, while the discrimination in this case points to systemic issues. This current administration has a history of ignoring marginalized communities, whether it be the mayor conducting traumatizing sweeps of unhoused individuals and then glibly denying they and their victims even exist, or in fighting renters who just want basic rights and security. Everyone deserves transparency, protection, and input into decisions that affect their home, their environment, and their health. That is why I, along with many others, urge you to use your power to begin an investigation. Because whether you decide to show concern or indifference, corporations looking to exploit Rochester and those of us who call Rochester home will get the message loud and clear. Thank you.
Ames Grigg is followed by Clifford Florence Jr.
Good evening. My name is Ames Grigg. I live at 407 Durden Street, and I'm here today not to discuss the Verizon cell tower proposal on Portland Avenue that you're all well aware of. I'm here to ask for an investigation into how the proposal got so far. Before I begin, I would like to thank council members Martin, Patterson, Lupien, Gruber, Monroe, and Melendez, who have stated their clear opposition to the tower. We're grateful that you've heard us and that you responded and that you agree that this is inappropriate. Tonight, the inappropriateness of the tower and its location isn't the main concern. Structural and environmental racism are. So are transparency and accountability, collusion, and corruption. In the course of our investigation into how a proposal that got so out of alignment with Rochester's zoning laws could have gotten so far, we have uncovered evidence of fraud, corruption, and collusion. These are serious allegations, we know. We're asking for a serious response. Tonight, what we ask is that you examine this evidence and conduct an investigation into the corrupt actions of the zoning department. We ask that you use your power to protect marginalized communities from current and future illegal discriminatory actions conducted through opaque and evasive means. The city charter reads in section 5-21G, powers of the council. The council shall have the power to investigate all departments, boards, bureaus, and officers, and to have access to all records and papers kept in the custody of any department, board, bureau, or other agency. We have evidence of collusion, corruption, and fraud, as well as civil rights violations. We ask not that you believe us, but that you disprove us. We ask not that you simply listen to us, but that you act. We ask not that you take our side, but that you examine all sides. Please hear us. Laws are being broken and people are being harmed. We possess more than enough evidence to justify investigations by the City Council. We need only for the City Council to use their power to take action in the name of equity, inclusion, transparency, accountability, and justice. We'll be in contact with you to discuss the next steps. Thank you.
Clifford Florence Jr. Samuel Lowtempo is followed by Antonio Hepburn.
Hello, how you doing today? Members of the City Council, my name is Sam. I'm a proud United States Navy veteran. I'm an honored speaker today as a member of Combat News. I first want to thank you for your leadership, especially your support for transportation to and from the VA. The effort isn't just convenient, it's a lifeline. It provides access to medical care, peer connection, and reassurance that Rochester stands behind its veterans. You merely improved a system. You sent a message. Veterans are seen, valued, and respected. Your support through memorial events, community engagements, and listening makes Rochester a model veteran-friendly city. On behalf of myself, veterans across the community, we thank you for standing with us and for continuing to lead with heart. Thank you again, guys.
Antonio Hepburn. George Elkin.
Hi, my name is George Elkind, and I live on Meg Street here in Rochester. I'm here speaking today both as a resident concerned about the well-being of my neighbors and to speak on behalf of Metro Justice, a grassroots organization with a long-standing commitment to racial, economic, and environmental justice. Surely all of you have heard from us being Metro Justice, over the course of our RED campaign for a public utility here in Rochester, a vision we are still fighting to see realized. What we're asking here regarding the Verizon Tower construction is far simpler. Not an ambitious proposal, but instead we're just requesting that the city simply enforce procedures that are already on the books. However, the ethos remains the same, stemming from a place of concern for the health of Rochesterians, especially our black and brown neighbors. I would like to echo the call of others who've spoken before me for an investigation into an apparently fraudulent application and the actions of the zoning administration who helped it through. The Verizon Tower proposal on Portland Avenue could only exist through a lack of adherence to proper zoning procedures, and the tower, if built, would stand as a symbol and a product of the systematized environmental racism that allowed it to be built. Like my neighbors here, I'd like to call for a thorough investigation into these processes. It's extremely clear to anyone who lives here that a proposal for a structure like this would not sail through and will likely not be approved in any of the more well-to-do and generally wider areas of our city. Any violations of standard zoning procedures, which affect not just business activity, but the well-being, health, and safety of all residents, should be thoroughly investigated in the name of ensuring equitable enforcement of procedures in a city with a long history of redlining and segregation. In calling for this investigation into what I understand to be an illegal proposal, I'm asking Council to stand, just as we have with our campaign for energy democracy, against environmental racism and to ensure that the built environment here reflects residents' demands for a safe and equitable Rochester. Thank you.
Kevin McBride. Kevin McBride. Linda Caroma is followed by Gwendolyn Nesbitt.
I'm the president of the City of Tenant Association. I've written to the mayor and this council pertaining to the safety concerns, illegal rent increases, embezzlement, and fraud that myself and others on my team have reported. We reported to the council about elderly and senior abuse that consists, among other things, mental, emotional, physical, and financial exploitation. Myself and other tenants association executive committee members have appeared before the Rochester Housing Authority on at least 2 occasions, requesting an informal, formal, and fair hearing concerning 4 illegal eviction increases that were approved from 6/24 to 4/25 in my household. During this time period, the rent increased from $876 to $1,700, all less than a year. Wind Company, Civil Laws Housing Development Fund Corporation, Civil Law LLC, receive federal and state monies that have been stolen from my household ledgers and other from 2018 to present. Over the course of the past 3 years, they have also found numerous illegal evictions in court. So Cynthia Harry, the director of RHA, has contacted Attorney General, investigating the fraud, embezzlement, harassment, Inspector General Office at New York Protection Unit, Governor Hochul. Monroe County has been notified, the Lifespan of Rochester, New York, and the U.S. Department of Justice. So we're seeing that they need to return that stolen money ASAP, and the landlord has to make sure that they understand that they are LIHTC building. So before you pass good cause, every LITC building had good cause. You cannot get put out for a good cause. You cannot increase rent unless the community board approves it. And we only had a 4% approval since 2021. So everybody you see low income housing, they have to talk to New York Renewal Board before they can increase rent.
Gwendolyn Nesbitt.
Good afternoon. My name is Gwendolyn Nesbitt. I live at 25 Franklin Street, apartment 525 in Rochester. I'd like the wind companies to pay me back my overpay payable that happened from October 1st, 2023 to 2025. I've already asked for this and got ignored. I'd like this to be refunded in a cashier's check. I also like to get refunded from the city for damages from a pothole to my car.
I applied for it, and they sent me a letter saying I was denied for payment for that. And this happened June 16th, 2025. Thank you.
Albert Agarin is followed by Kevin Lockhart.
Good afternoon. My name is Albert Argren. I'm the president of the North Clinton Avenue Business Association. I have been a volunteer on 14609 and 14621 for 23 years. A volunteer for 23 years. So I have walked the streets with the police. I have walked the street with the business associations. I see the pain that's going through there. The drugs, the gangs, the prostitution, the crime. Parents don't feel safe bringing the kids out to the park. Poor housing, slum landlords. And we got to turn this around. This and I can continue. So I'm here tonight to tell you that even though I lived in the city 10 years ago, actually in your Mike Patterson around the corner from you, and move out to Greece, I had decided to move back to the city to run for city council to make a change. I think we need leadership. I think we need new people with the smarts to understand that you can make the money, but if you can't make the changes, then you should be sitting there. So as well as we're doing that, I decided to sell a very expensive property which I own on the lake, and we're going to take those proceeds to buy houses in the city, to remodel them, and to put people, families that deserve a decent home, not a slum apartment, and get rid of the slum landlords, and let's put good landlords, and stop selling houses to outside people, landlords that don't take care of the properties. They don't even answer your phone calls. They don't answer your phone calls. They don't care. But we are coming. I got $400 to invest in the city for housing, and we will be coming back to the city within 3 months. And I know that when I come into city council, Mr. Melendez, I will make a change.
Kevin Lockhart is followed by Lori Finby.
This is a regularly scheduled city council session that is hosted every month by the City of Rochester. And 4 of you couldn't show up tonight. What part of your job do you not understand? You all have far too much privilege being the sole beneficiaries of the whole city's, whatever you call it, the representatives in the Board of Elections. Stanley, can you stop staring at me? You're making me nervous. Okay. In fact, no, I belong in Webster. I'm taking time off from my town board meeting in Webster.
Please allow the gentleman to have his time, please. Thank you.
In fact, this city council and administration exists in opposition to the liberty of these people. You rely on the few hundred LGBTQ voters to vote in the primaries every 4 years to keep you remaining in office. For centuries, this city has codified repression. Even now, today, they operate upon a contract with WXXI that restricts this forum from being broadcast. Yes, the repression is levied through every policy, every law, and every time they fail to act.
We didn't turn it off. You did. You see the Kevin, do you see the little button in the middle?
B, you can't broadcast or include these people in the WXXI contract. You speak to these people with disdain. You've got 8 police patrol beats that are constantly under siege by gangsters. And I came here tonight to ask you directly, what gang do you all rep? Apparently, you're all not big on public safety. And I'm at home thinking, why is it that these folks don't respond when there's shootings? For instance, on North Clinton, I'm going to take a few more moments because this has been. For instance, on North Clinton,
Sir, your time is up. Sorry, sir, your time is up, sir.
On North Clinton,
Lori Finby.
Good evening, City Council. Lori here again, representing Voiceless of Verona Street. I'm not here to beat up RAS because the staff and volunteers do the very best they can with the resources they're given. However, they're continuously understaffed. Our mayor, Shirley Green, and some of you guys on City Council are the ones failing the stray and abandoned animals in Rochester. RCAC just raised their spay and neuter prices to $150 for to neuter a cat, $225 to spay a cat, $325 to neuter a dog, and $425 to spay a dog. They no longer offer rescues a discounted rate, and they will be charging 20% less of those prices, which is double what the rescues used to pay. This creates an additional problem for RAS because the rescues can't pull as many dogs out of there because they can't afford to spay and neuter the animals. They run on donations. This adds to an already serious crisis in Rochester. My questions are, when will the mayor, Shirley Green, and many of you figure out some solutions to the stray and abandoned animal crisis? When will RAS hire a vet? It's been since April 2024. No vet. And that is a problem. Increase the salary, hire some recruiters. You guys gotta do something because our mayor is not. And I'm really sad the election turned out how it did. When will RAS be fully staffed so they can help more residents? And why can't RAS offer affordable spay and neuter programs to the city residents to reduce the stray cats and dogs on our streets? Thank you very much and have a good summer.
Maggie Kane. Raymond Banks. Lorraine Parr. Amy D'Amico. Marcus C. Williams. Dr. Lisa Barr. Ann Starks. Michael Lohr. Clifford Florence Jr. Antonio Hepburn. Kevin McBride.
All right, we have reached the end of our Speak to Council session this month. Thank you to all who attended and participated tonight. The next regular council meeting will be on Tuesday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. here in Chambers. Have a good night.